This is King Judah 23 of the Judah Life Podcast, and you watching the Empire Network.
Dizzle beats, that's a vibe.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna
black boy got arrested for unaliving the watermelon man. If you're from Florida, you see this a lot in the summer. Like you be driving down the street and you'll see normally it's Hispanic people and they selling fruit on the side of the road. This crazy behind boy done blew away one of them people. He tried to rob him and he had a little pew-pew on him. But I guess the watermelon man wasn't going. So he carjacked him, robbed him, and he shot him. And now the police have him, and they charged him with first-degree unaliving, robbery, and a list of other charges, too. Not only that, but they try him as an adult in court. This little boy done threw away his life for probably, what, $100, $200? And now he gone for the rest of his life to rot in a jail cell. For unaliving this man right here, a white man of all people. Anyway, you know you're going to get caught the man white. It ain't never worth it. And this was in Memphis. I don't know what's in Memphis, but I heard y'all doing a lot of pew-pewing lately, and I don't know why. What y'all got going on over there? Rest in peace to that man. But it sucks to see another young black boy throw their life away for a few dollars. Get a job, bro. If you need money that bad, get a job. Your grocery store is hiring. Somebody's hiring.
Tamia Taylor was a 21-year-old mother of two. On the evening of Saturday, September 9th, she embarked on a trip to Memphis, Tennessee in celebration of her 21st birthday. She was accompanied by three friends. Allegedly, the three friends were Shanquilla Drake, Kanisha Poole, and Quindara Jenkins. They boarded the Island Queen Booze Cruise at around 11:30 p.m., and the cruise was a 2-hour cruise along the Mississippi River. Now, Tamia was seen on video at the time that the cruise came back to the harbor in Memphis, but when the friends got off of the boat, Tamia was nowhere to be found. Initially, her friends informed her mother, Deborah Taylor, that they were uncertain about her whereabouts, saying that they had lost her. Additionally, they claimed that Tamia had gone upstairs to the second floor to use the restroom, and she left her phone on the table. Now, her friends say that they picked up her phone and they waited by the bathroom door for her to return, but eventually they left without Tamia. On Saturday, September 23rd, a body was found on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi River. Sadly, the body was identified as Tamia Taylor. Now, according to a WREG article, the Memphis Police Department does not expect foul play, which is honestly baffling to me. Now, at this time, no further details have been made public. The sources for this video were Action 5 News and WREG. This is such a sad update to this case, and Tamia Taylor's family, they deserve answers because someone knows something. They know what happened to Tamia. My thoughts and prayers are with Tamia Taylor's loved ones, especially.
Oh my God, have you heard this story?
Memphis police, the body of a person has been found in a burned out car at the police impound lot. Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Horn Lake police say the victim was reported missing by his family on the same day.
Horn Lake police tell us that the case is being investigated as a homicide by the Memphis Police Department. And tonight they believe that victim is a 20-year-old missing man.
Family and friends put out an urgent plea to find 20-year-old Jadarius Webb on Saturday. A burning car was found at Weaver and Tully on Saturday. Crews put the flames out and the car was towed to the impound lot. Memphis police say an unidentified body was later recovered from the car. And this is not the first time something like this has happened. More than 6 years ago, the body of a shooting victim was found in the back of a van at the lot. It had been there for nearly 7 weeks. The victim, Bardamiano Perez Hernandez, was found by his friend when he went to retrieve the van. Former Memphis Police Director Michael Rawlings called for major changes to policy. Inspections were to be made with cadaver dogs, longer vehicle holds were put in place, and new crime scene training was put into place for officers.
These changes will ensure that every vehicle is thoroughly checked and we never let an incident like this happen again.
The victim's family hired an attorney and filed a $300,000 lawsuit against the city, saying Hernandez could have survived if he was found.
Our evidence and the testimony of the medical examiner was it was possible for Bardamiano to survive had he received immediate care.
9 people were disciplined and 8 officers were suspended.
Now tonight, Horn Lake police say DNA testing will be conducted to confirm that the body is webbed. Meanwhile, Memphis police have not said how long the body was in the car at that impound lot. Now we're continuing to search for those answers and we'll bring them to you as we learn them. But for your news leader, I'm Ashley Paul, WREG News Channel 3.
Still trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Thank you, Ashley.
Did Jesse Jackson help murder Dr. King?
Panthers effectively of Memphis, but they were local community organizing guys, and they could be very helpful, and they were there to help Dr. King. Then all of a sudden, what happened? About 5:45 on the 4th of April, 16 minutes before the shot, there's a knock on the door. The invaders are told, you have to leave. Because the King organization, SCLC, is no longer going to pay your bill. You're not needed. You have to go. And they're nonplussed. What is this? They've been having good meetings. They've been working well with SCLC, with Hosey and Jim Orange. And they said, what's going on? But if they don't want us, fine. We'll just... And they were armed, by the way, because they were always armed in self-defense. Then we just, fine, we'll go. But as they were getting ready, he got a second thought. As he had a second thought, he said, oh, to the woman at the door, well, who was it who gave you these instructions that we should go? Because it's a bit silly. 5:45 at night, when do you pay your hotel bill? I mean, this room's already been paid for. Now they don't want to pay our bill. I mean, you've got to go now. Yes, now. Well, who gave you this instruction? She said, well, Brother Jackson. Reverend Jackson gave us this.
That's right.
Reverend Jackson gave us this instruction. Reverend Jackson, he had nothing to do with that group. Why would he give that instruction? Over the shoulder of the woman, they see Reverend Jackson down in the parking lot looking at his watch. And they thought that was very funny, but strange. But they packed up their things and they left the hotel.
There you are mocking Jesse Jackson at a speech.
Oh, bootlicking, buck dancing, scratching, shuffling, messy Jesse Jackson. I am a somebody. I am a somebody. I don't rightly know who the hell I am, but I am.
This Memphis woman fatally shot her husband during a fight over some keys. This is 44-year-old Alita Bean. Also, she shot her husband right in front of the children too. On May 21st, around the evening time, police got a call about gunfire shots. When they arrived at the scene, they found a male, her husband, deceased. Police made contact with the children who were unharmed, and they said that their mother shot their father. The police then went to the kitchen and found Terrence Bean laying face down dead. There were 3 gun shell casings all around him, and then the wife, Alita Bean, was in the kitchen and said they were fighting over the gun, and the gun went off. However, this story gets a lot weirder here. The children said that they were fighting over some keys, and then they were scuffling. Somehow, the male victim's pants was off, and then Alita was on the floor. Alita told the kids, get the gun. The kids got the gun, brought it to her, and told her to shoot him. She was booked into the county jail on a charge of second-degree murder. However, knowing the details, this makes this case very complicated. It seems like she was about to be assaulted, and this may have been some sort of self-defense. Like, those details are just very, very key right there. I'm not sure when she's set to go to trial. This is very new. This case literally happened like 5 or 6 days ago. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
The body was found upside down with her head on the floor mat on the passenger seat of her own vehicle. Her murder has gone unsolved. Hello, true crimers. This is the case of Nancy Little. Viewer discretion is advised. This story happened in Memphis, Tennessee in 1989. Sadly, when this murder happened, it only got one news story roughly a week after it happened, and then the news went quiet for decades. Nancy Little was born in 1957. She was one of 7 kids. She aspired to become a model. She loved music, she loved dancing, she loved singing, and she was just described as a really, really sweet person. At the time of the story, Nancy lived alone in Memphis, Tennessee. She had her own apartment, and she was 9 months pregnant. The father of her baby was her boyfriend, but he was also married with children. The two of them had met at the U.S. Post Office where they worked together. The boyfriend kept telling Nancy, I'm breaking it off with my wife, it's going to be over, but he never did that. Nancy was super excited about the baby. He did not seem as excited. She was going to take him to court for child support, which basically would have exposed him to his wife. On October 8th, 1989, at about 6 p.m., roughly a mile or so from her apartment, Nancy's vehicle was found and she was inside of it. And to the kids who found her, it looked like she was sleeping. They called police, and when police arrived, they knew right away she was not sleeping. Nancy was deceased. It was the position of her body that made this entire thing absolutely bizarre. She was in the passenger seat of her car. She was not facing forward, so she was flipped over and she was face down. So her head was resting on the floor of the car and her pregnant belly was on the seat. And then her feet and legs were actually hanging behind the seat. The coroner would notate many contusions and bruises on her body, and they ruled her cause of death as positional asphyxiation. And the coroner therefore ruled this a homicide. He stated that someone had to have done this to her. The Memphis PD, however, just didn't really seem interested in investigating this case. At least not back then. They didn't notify the media, they didn't hold press conferences, they didn't really say anything to the public about this at all. They didn't seem to care. No one seemed to care. One of the officers said, quote, well, the doctor has ruled it a homicide, so we have to live with that. We've done everything we can to determine who's responsible since the doctor says someone must have done it, end quote. Are you shitting me? Really? You find a body in a car in a way you have never discovered a body in a car. They're telling you this was murder, and you're like, ugh, now we have to do things. Great, now he's making us work. Jesus criminy. By the way, 2 victims, right? Her baby also died. And the Memphis PD back then when this happened said, we have no suspects at all. Really, not even the father of the baby. Seems like he would be a top priority to look into, but I guess not. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't be until about 2016 when brand new detectives, the cold case team, was working on this case when they said, yeah, the boyfriend, the baby's father, is a suspect in this case. They're trying to figure out how Nancy even got to that location. I guess it was somewhat close to the boyfriend's apartment. According to Nancy's family, they said that Nancy actually called them and said she planned to stay at home all night. The detectives back then said, well, the car is the likely crime scene. That's where she was murdered. But then there would be someone else would say in the force would say, well, we think that her body was driven around in the car. It was being hidden in the car in order for the killer to just, leave her somewhere. Meaning that there would have been another crime scene. But they never said where the other crime scene may be. Apparently, back then, police did find a blue latex glove near the car. The glove didn't have, some of its fingers on it. It was the same type of glove that was used at the post office that she worked at with her boyfriend. However, nobody knows if that glove was ever forensically tested. In 2016, when actually good detectives are working on this case, actually working on it, they were able to, swab the steering wheel of Nancy's car, and they said they obtained what appeared to be a DNA sample. However, it appears that DNA sample was too badly degraded. And then, like I said, in 2016, police announced that, I don't know his name, but they announced that that boyfriend, the baby's father, was a suspect, the suspect. However, they've never had any physical evidence to actually connect him directly to her murder. Allegedly, he had an alibi, but his only alibi witness was his wife. It's believed that his wife made up the alibi and lied about it simply because she didn't want to ruin her family. That, back then during those times, keeping your family together at all costs was top priority. So I guess that means lying about where your husband was if he's being investigated for murdering a person. But that's also the motive here. She was going to take him to court for child support. She was basically going to say that he was the father, and then, his wife would have found out. And then she ends up murdered. That's a little too convenient, especially close to where he lived. He's the only actual viable suspect. But police are still asking for the public's help. If you have any information about the murder of Nancy Little, please come forward. You can do so anonymously. If you have information, please call 901-636-2653. Help Nancy get justice.
This is King Judah 23 of the Judah Life Podcast, and you watching the Empire Network.
Dizzle.